Welcome to the studio. It has been 5 months since the last time I've given you an update with the redesign and the complete tearing apart and reconstruction. As I shared in that last video, I originally built the studio primarily for the podcast 8 years ago. I moved into this house probably 12 years ago. So I was in the house for a little while till I kind of figured out what I wanted to do. So 8 years later, and we've been working like the dickens. So 5 months ago, August of 24, we still had the basic room. We were clearing stuff out when I shared with you my thinking on the redesign of the studio. Fast forward to now February of 25, here we are. I had originally projected that I wanted the studio to be completely done and fully operational by January of 25. Needless to say, we did not make that date. So it's still a work in progress. We have come a long, long way. First part of the work was really about ripping out all the carpeting and replacing it with hardwood floors. As I've shared many times, I have a chronic cough and that results from severe dust allergy, dust mites. So years ago, we'd done this in the house. It was a big, huge help. We took all the carpeting out of the studio and put down hardwood floors. That has been a big help in my allergies. However, it also, though, has changed the sound dynamics, and many of you have probably noticed that in the recordings. Depending on where I'm standing in the room, we get a really bad echo effect. The room has not been retuned as of yet. So we got the flooring all done. The other big thing that we have done is the installation of the tool chest. These are Husky tool chests with full drawers. This on this side is my audio equipment, so it's got all the wireless microphones. It has battery packs. It has, you name it, anything audio related is in this cabinet, along with some cable work, along with tools in that for my Bamboo Labs 3D printer. However, that's not the only one we've got. On this side, we have another of the Huskies. This contains all of the video gear. So, for instance, SDI, professional video redistribution plugs, all kinds of cables. Down here are the cameras. So this was the second of the tool chests that I've had brought in. Now, here's the challenge. This space is above the garage, and those puppies are like stinking heavy. So I ended up having two friends who actually rented a man lift. We literally strapped these onto the bottom of the man lift from the outside and lifted them and set them on the patio deck and rolled them in with the patio door. Needless to say, I did that while my wife was traveling because she would have like totally freaked out. When she got back and she saw them in and she saw how the organizing is going, she was quite happy with it. But man, I just have nightmares if I ever have to move out of this place. What is that going to take? So we got the tool chests in, we've got the flooring in, the 3D printer. There's a separate video on the unboxing of the Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon. I'm telling you, this thing has literally not stopped printing since I got it. And in fact, my grandson, who's now 12, was up here and he does his own printing and his own work on it. He was asking if, ever since I got it, had it ever not been printing. And I had to think about it. It's pretty rare. I'll even schedule overnight prints for work with. And other people have been sending me files that they wanted printed. And I'm happy to help out those that need maybe a little extra printing time. So the printer has been very active. We've not done anything on the laser cutter yet. We're still evaluating that. The other piece that's probably the other biggest, and you can just probably see it just above my head here, is the suspended lighting grid. So the lighting grid just went in. We actually contracted it with a professional firm that does this for like theaters and stages and those types of things. So this is 2-inch pipe on a 4x4 grid. There's a couple of the grid spots that are maybe a little bit smaller, simply because of the spacing of the studs, and we had to wrap it around the sound clouds, the sound suppression clouds that were already in the ceiling. And so as a result of that, we have just literally started hanging the lights. So suspending the lights from the grid with lighting grid clamps, and all of the electrical comes from above. So therefore, there's no cables to be tripped on, to be walked around, and et cetera. Because keep in mind, my objective for this studio is not just to do the audio and the video work, which many of you know me from, but what you didn't see behind the scenes was I was also doing prototyping work or hosting ideation sessions or doing Zoom creativity ideation activities over Zoom from within the studio. And I needed a different space. I needed a space that could accommodate that. So that's why I want everything off the floor, everything into the ceiling. I still use it obviously for the audio and the video recording, but I think we're thinking about shifting really that more of that content space to actually capturing as I'm doing some of this work for others. So stay tuned for that. But so the lighting grid is in, the electrical is in. We are very early stage. We have lights now arriving with the clampings and all those types of things, and what's called dog collars. And dog collars are the twisted wired straps you put around lights to put over the lighting grid. So in the event that a clamp failure occurs, the light won't come crashing down onto the floor. That's a requirement if you are going to have a space where you're going to have clients or others coming in, because it's an OSHA requirement if you've got employees in your space. So we're taking, we're really focusing in on making sure that we have a good space where companies, individuals, companies that I'm on their board or I'm on their advisory or I'm just consulting with them, they can come and visit this space. I don't have to worry about anything. And needless to say, just getting the wiring off the floor was a big help. So, and this is that Husky tool chest that we talked about. And then this is the new workspace area. So you may have recalled seeing maybe the similar desks in the previous area, but we now have 2 workstation areas. This is my primary area for the work that I do. This is the area that is used primarily to drive the Bamboo printer. As you can see, we have a number of 3D prints here that just came off the printer here real recently. And so this is the area where design work occurs, preparation for the 3D print. Now, as we look into this new end of the space, this is the area that was not used previously. We obviously have the second Husky, but this is still a work in progress. So Mike, the guy who did all the audio work and the podcast end of the studio, has now specified all of the ceiling work, and now we're getting ready to order all that. It'll arrive. Mike and some of his people will come up. They'll install all of the sound suppression, which will be above the lighting grid because of the reverb that we get off of this hardwood floors. I didn't believe how much of this was going to change the sound effect in the room. And then we're actually looking to possibly do onto this wall or the back wall, slotted the wood slats that also have sound suppression built into the back. So that could be in the back wall or along this one wall or both. We're still evaluating what we're going to do at that end with regards to the TV zoom area. So, let me know what you think. I mean, I've been looking at like a 98-inch Samsung TV. They're getting down pretty cheap these days. But I've also been kind of really thinking about a Vibe board, which is a collaboration board. It runs Chrome OS, so it has embedded apps. You don't have to have a separate PC to drive like you need something for the TVs. And it works with all the normal collaboration tools, and they've got all kinds of capabilities. If anybody here, if you all have used Vibe or you've actually seen a live demo where you've actually interacted with it, pop a comment. Let me know what you think of it. I'm still in the evaluation mode as to whether or not I'm gonna pop for that yet. They're still fairly early, albeit they've claimed they've got tens of thousands of these things installed, but I'm the proverbial early adopter, and I've got closets full of technologies that I was the early adopter on, and then the company or that product line got refreshed, and I ended up with old technologies. So that's kind of what's going on, or at least what my thinking is down at that end. However, the next step is sound suppression going in. That's not in as of yet. The other is the dark wood channels you see around the piping grid. That's the wire chase, so that's for power and low voltage. Low voltage would be both network connections, because we will be deploying NDI cameras into the room. So all of the video, power over Ethernet will all be happening on across the networking cables. And then we've actually have moved all of the audio gear into this closet here, because this is where the network termination happens. And if you look up here, you will see the chase that we've cut into the wall. So cabling will come out that hole, up onto the wiring chase, and then feed the rest of the room. So again, the objective is keep everything off the floor as much as possible, so that we can move things around, we can treat it as a real true working space, and the studio kind of wraps around the studio to be as effective as possible. Some other things we're working on is suspension of speakers from the grid. So this would allow us to have really good sound in here when we're doing Zoom collaborations. We're also experimenting with suspended microphones. So literally wire the room and be able to turn off and control microphones throughout the room, so we don't end up with having to do lav mics like I'm doing today. Albeit I probably still will do lav mics because I'm a belt and suspenders guy. So I want that backup to make sure that it works. So that is kind of the status of where we're at. The new things we're looking on is, again, the TV or Vibe board. If you've got an opinion, I would love to hear it. If you've got or used Vibe, or you've seen a live demonstration of it, let me know what your thoughts are on that. The other is you've seen across here with the lights next to the desk, and then the light and door going out to the patio. We've looked at blackout shades. They're not cheap. So I'm trying to think if there's a better, more effective alternative to be able to get this room really, really dark. Because I actually end up having to focus my recording, tend to be in the morning, not in the afternoon, since all those windows face west. So as the sun sets here in Colorado, it's very bright, very intense. It will bleed through even the shades that we have on the windows now. So, hey, with that, I appreciate you spending the time here. Don't go anywhere. Please subscribe and hit that bell. That helps us to continue to grow the subscriber count. It also lets people who follow you know that you are showing interest. Give us a like on this video. And as I've been talking most recently, the memberships are up. You can join the membership over here in the YouTube channel. You can also hop on over to Patreon and join the membership there. You get exclusive content. You get your invites to do live streams from the studio where I'll answer questions. And who knows, maybe we'll actually work together and create a prototype of whatever your idea is. So hop on over, do that membership. I also give you early access before any of the videos are made public if you're a member. So again, hop on over to Patreon. You just search for Phil McKinney. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click that join button right here within the channel. Or again, go over to YouTube, search for Phil McKinney. And with that, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of being with here today. I really appreciate the attention. Your time is valuable. We're all trying to create, we're trying to innovate, and you've made the decision to pause and to listen. And hopefully you found value. Give me feedback. Let me know what works, what doesn't work. And if that includes telling me to shut up sooner and don't drag these things out, I look for all feedback. I think all of it is positive. And with that, have a great week. Get out there, take your ideas, and execute. That's where value is created. We'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.